River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Niner Nuts. I'm Dan here along with James. James, say hello.
What's up, everybody? Say hi, Batman. Say hi. Say hi. Oh, Batman.
Oh, hi, Batman. And Eric will be joining us momentarily. He is running a little late, but I have an appointment I'm trying to get to, so we are starting without him. He will join us just when he can, but that said, we do have one little bit of Niner news before I explain why I'm wearing a baseball hat along with James's baseball shirt. The Brandon Ayuik talks, they happened. It was a little strange that Brandon Ayuik was the one that initiated these conversations, but I solely going off of what Tom Pelissero said, his sources indicated that it was a good talk. A lot of things got aired out, but a deal has not materialized still, but these talks were at least somewhat productive. Brandon Ayuik has clearly been trying to weigh whatever leverage, lack thereof, that he has to get their attention, and it's worked to the point that he got a meeting. But that said, no contract yet, so apparently they're going to regroup after the holiday. So that's your Brandon Ayuik update. I don't have a graphic for that, but
real quick, should we talk about the Sunday ticket antitrust settlement too?
Yes, yes, we will. We need to save that for like a real deep dive with Eric because we are nerds about streaming services and like the current state of flux that TV versus streaming, the streaming wars. We love following that stuff every single day, and this definitely weighs into the streaming wars because the NFL has to pay over $4 billion. Yes, with a B. $4 billion in damages, a majority of them to residents, and about just a little shy of $100 million. I think it was only like $96 million to commercial businesses like bars and restaurants mainly, because they broke antitrust laws in the eyes of this jury. So will we see any of that money? Probably not, at least in the near future, because it's going to go through some appeals, and the NFL will obviously appeal this all the way to the Supreme Court. But yeah, if you had Sunday Ticket at any point between 2022 and 2011, like we did, you should keep an eye on this story because, yeah, this is a huge black eye for the NFL.
Yeah, their monopoly with Sunday Ticket needs to end, and needs to end fast, because this is ridiculous. Like, other leagues have moved into the new millennium on streaming packages with their sports. You can buy one team, you can do all sorts of things with these packages now, and the NFL is so far behind on this. I mean, Apple was trying to do something about it. I mean, we need to have better products, and better products only come from competition. And so competition needs to involve Sunday Ticket so that we can get better products. Otherwise, we're still going to be paying for a one and all package and not being fully satisfied with our viewing experience with Sunday Ticket.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the allegations of what ESPN and Apple were possibly going to be offering, but yeah, the NFL saying no, it's still got to be a one and all deal. Like, this is way oversimplified, but that was the main crux of the antitrust argument that has now won in court, and we'll see how it goes with the appeals process. But we, the consumers, got a massive, massive win. Again, the league was found by this initial jury guilty of breaking antitrust laws, and they have to pay over $4 billion in damages, which is just.
Who do you think writes that check? Jerry Jones, Jed York?
It's going to be all 30 of them, or 31 of them. 31, because the Packers don't have an owner. But yeah, the 31 official owners are all going to be co-signing that check, because the main. It was the league that was sold, but yeah, it's coming out of the owners' pockets.
Yeah, I know. Dan Snyder got out while he could.
How funny for Josh Harris! Like, what the hell did you guys get me into? Like, God, that's so funny.
Anyway,
we need a deeper dive into this when Eric in another episode. But yeah, no, I'm sure Eric is thrilled about that. Anyway, though, our main story for this episode, the Special Friday episode. Yeah, we're a football podcast, but again, I'm wearing a baseball hat. I am celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Madison Bumgarner leading the charge for the Giants to win the World Series in 2014. James, your Phillies have a great shot at getting to the World Series this year. They just got to get out of the way of the. They got to get the Dodgers and the the Dodgers and the Yankees.
They choke. I mean, they need a bubble to win a freaking World Series. That's what they need.
Yeah, and we're in the dog days of summer. Like, this is where you stake your claim for the postseason, is it not? I'm hardly the best baseball expert here, but to set the stage,
you still like September is really when you want to hit like your really good streak. Right in September, like starting maybe around mid-September, you want to be in a good position to make.
But you don't want to crap the bed in June, July, and August. Like, you got to still somewhat be good.
Well, yeah, but the Phillies have proven the last 2 years that you could be the worst team in the division all the way up until June, like 2nd or 3rd, and then the next thing you know, you're in the wild card and you're winning games and you're in the NLCS or World Series. Like, so you don't necessarily count out teams if they have a bad April, May, or June. I mean, look at the Astros. The Astros were started out really, really bad. Now they're at 500, so they're starting to make a charge and into this July, August, September run. My cool thing is, like, I looked at the standings the other day in the National League, and everybody but like one or two teams was within one game of a wild card spot. Like, it was insane, like how close all these teams were. And people hate the new playoff system, but I love it because guess what? The trade deadline is at the end of July. Everybody's going to be in it. Everybody's going to be wheeling and dealing. Like, that's like one of the most important days in baseball that everybody watches. Like, MLB Network is the wheeling and dealing that's going to go on between teams to get an edge so that they can make a playoff push. And that's what everybody wants. People want more action. People want more teams involved. So this is, they moved to this system 2 years ago. And a lot of people, purists, have complained that, the division winner loses in the division round. And that's horrible. Like, why is that horrible? The first year they did it, and this was the first year the Phillies got in as a 6th seed, the divisional round had the most viewership since like 2017 when the Astros won the World Series. So this is good for baseball. Other teams are getting into it. Teams that you don't normally see, like you don't normally see the Yankees and all these big names that are always getting in, like Dodgers. You're starting to see teams like the Arizona Diamondbacks get in, and they made a run to the World Series last year. Like, that was great for baseball. The parity is great for baseball. You can't just have the Dodgers and the Astros face off every year. Like, that gets boring, And so when the team
just like college football, we don't want to see Alabama every year.
Exactly. So you need to create this parity in order for people to stay interested in baseball and to stay interested in their local teams. The Cubs have a great fan base and they love to be in the playoff hunt. So if they're watching, they're going to games, selling out games, waiting for a playoff run. Like, that just makes the viewing experience better for baseball fans, And the league has started the pitch clock, which has made games faster. The ghost runner on second base, which is nice because you don't have to wait 14 or 15 innings to watch somebody finish a regular season game. I mean, like they've done so many things to make the game better for viewers that people are starting to take notice. More people are watching, including me. I've been back on the baseball kick probably since 2018 when the Phillies signed Bryce Harper. Like that was a big deal. Like to understand Bryce Harper coming to Philadelphia, it'd be like LeBron James going to the Sixers, something like that. I'm dead serious because Bryce Harper was on the cover of Sports Illustrated at 16 as the prodigal son, like he was going to be a savior for baseball, and he is living up to that. Those guys don't choose Philly. No, none of those guys choose Philly. They end up going somewhere else because they don't want to deal with the pressure of failing in Philly and being scrutinized for every little thing. Bryce Harper said, "Bring it on, bring it on."
Yeah, it's next level there. Like the level of passion. Like Chicago doesn't match it. Nobody in Florida matches it, despite them having a lot of teams. Same in California. Like true diehards. Like the first city I think of when you ask me like the most diehard sports fans. Period. If it's not the New England area, it's Philly.
Well, and the thing about it is, if you listen to WIP and the stations that are encompassed under that one umbrella of the conglomerated radio group that they are, Goldberg's podcast is the number one podcast on it by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They're out, by a lot. They crush Dallas's numbers, the Goldberg's podcast. I'm dead serious.
Right.
Like,
oh no, I believe it.
Yeah, they were like Dallas was trying to get a movement to overtake the Goldberg's podcast, and Goldberg's found this out. So I downloaded like 3,000 episodes just to make sure Dallas wouldn't beat us, But anyway,
that's next level stuff. That's next level stuff that wouldn't happen here for Colts or Pacers fans.
Exactly. But going back to baseball, Bryce Harper signs in 2018, and he signs for 13 years, $330 million. $330 million was the most that a player got in a total contract at his position, I believe.
At the time, or is it still the record?
It's definitely not the record. It's a cheap contract by now. By this means, like by now, he is like the 25th or the 26th highest paid player in baseball. The dude has 2 MVPs. He's the favorite to be. He's one of the favorites to win MVP this year. He just grows his legend, And Bedlam at the Bank, like 2 years ago, the NLCS, he hits the game-winning home run in the 8th inning that sends the Phillies to the World Series. Like, he is everything that we hope for. And to get him, Jack Fritz started Harperland. So when Harper was like signing, there was sort of like a holdout and stuff, and it just so happened to happen around Lent. So when people were giving up stuff for like Jesus Christ, Jack Fritz decided to give up stuff for Harper to get him to sign. So people were giving up, he gave up beer, and people were giving up all sorts of things and tagging Bryce Harper for Harperland. So much so that after he signed, he mentioned Harperland as one of the reasons that made him love Philadelphia. And so that's what we do. Like, that's what we do. And Harper is the epitome of any athlete that has ever been a star in Philadelphia. Like, during my lifetime, there has never been a star this big on the national stage with Philadelphia, and really he's underrated in the national media. Like, but the guy just, I mean, if you look at his stats, I mean, he in 2021 he won the MVP. His hittable ball rate the amount of balls that came into the strike zone that he could hit was 13%. And he still batted 300 and got over 1,000 OPS. Hittable ball rate was 13%. He wasn't seeing very many pitches to hit. And when he did, he was hitting them and putting, just that's him. That's like Barry Bonds stuff. That's the type of stuff Barry Bonds used to do. So now if we get to the odds, pull up the odds, Dan, for baseball MVP, National League MVP.
I was gonna say yes. We were bringing back betting Friday finally. We haven't had one of these in a minute, and I should have put.
Go to awards.
Yeah,
no, you're at Team Futures. National League MVP. Here we have Shohei Ohtani at -40 and Bryce Harper at +200. Now, Ohtani is usually the MVP every single year in whatever league he plays in. But one thing is hindering him this year. He is only a DH this year, and he is not pitching. Welcome, Eric. I can't hear you.
Oh, no. You might be muted, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome, Eric. We just got to the odds. I just professed my love for Bryce Harper, and now we're going over MVP odds.
Didn't I send a memo that I was wearing Giants gear, even though my t-shirts from Austin? I got my Giants hat on.
Yes.
Eric's a Philly fan, just so you know. He roots for the Phillies.
Maybe because I've bet money on them because of you.
Yes. See? He took Bryce Harper MVP, right?
Yes.
Yes. We also had a hidden MVP bet that Eric and I are in on. That at the beginning of the season when Ranger Suarez was like 10-0 and an ERA under like 1, we bet it, but it was Ranger Suarez to win the MVP. But here we have MVP odds, and it's definitely Ohtani versus Harper. These other guys, no, with the way Ohtani and Harper are playing, I don't see them stopping anytime soon. But of course, my money's on Harper, as we just told you. Like, he's batting over 300. He has 20 home runs. His OPS is nearing 1,000. I mean, he's just tearing the cover off the ball. Like, it's going to come down.
Is this more of you being a Bryce Harper lover or a Shohei Ohtani hater?
I love Shohei Ohtani. Like, I would say every single game, bet the over with Shohei Ohtani because you're going to win, pretty much. Like, if it says he's going to get, 1.5 hits, over, bet it. If he's going to get, 3 total bases, over, bet it. Like, just all of that. Like, bet the over always with Ohtani. But what I'm saying is the difference that's going to come is Harper, he plays a really good first base. He was a right fielder who played DH for the last couple of seasons because he had the same elbow injury that Shohei Ohtani has. He won an MVP with that elbow injury. Then because of last year, our first baseman, Rhys Hoskins, I love Rhys Hoskins too, but Rhys Hoskins got injured at the beginning of the year, and to save the team and to make a better team, Harper put in the work and now has learned first base. So, and he's a really good fielding first baseman. So, like, that's going to be the difference. Ohtani is a DH,
I think there's the chance that you get MVP fatigue too, right? Because Ohtani's won it 2 years in a row. So, I mean, I think that because he won it last year and the year before, right?
Yes, but in the AL.
Yeah, but I mean, still, I mean, he's won it twice. So, yeah. I mean, I think you
Harper's
have that.
Won it twice too.
But I mean, back-to-back years. So, I mean, I'm just saying that
yeah.
you have that MVP fatigue, I think, that can kind of settle in with the voters, and they look at a guy and they say, well, he just won it again. Are we really going to give it to him for a third year in a row? And I think they look for other candidates as well.
Well, I mean, if there's any other candidate that's worthy, it's definitely Bryce Harper. I mean, just with his stat line alone and what he's been doing, like, there's no doubt. And Harper plays a position too, and he plays it very well. Like, he's a really good fielding first baseman. So that's going to play a part in the voting because they're going to look at, okay, it's he's on the best team in baseball. He's the best player on the best team in baseball. He also plays a really good first base that he converted to just last year. Like, as far as I'm concerned, Ohtani could hit 50 home runs. That I don't care. He doesn't deserve to win the MVP for a guy who went from right field to DH to first base, is playing pretty much. I mean, he's the leader, I believe, in votes at first base for the All-Star game. Like, you could make an argument that he's the best first baseman in the National League, both fielding and hitting. And that means something. The fact that he plays a position and he's really good at playing the position, going along with his batting stats, like, you should put your money on Harper because those Ohtani MVP odds are not even worth even betting on unless you're going to parlay it with, I don't know, something else. But plus 200 Harper MVP, like, you're still getting a decent bet there. And I think if he doesn't get injured, heaven forbid he doesn't get injured. If he keeps going at the pace that he's going to go, he's going to end up with an over 1,000 OPS, maybe 500 to 600 slugging percentage with a 400 on base percentage and a 300 batting average, plus like 40 home runs. Like, that's insane. That is insane, the pace that he is on.
I mean, I agree with your fundamental perspective that it's a two-man race. I mean, just looking at this list, I mean, none of these other guys are even in the ballpark. I mean, you got Freeman and Betts, who are both from the Dodgers, that Ohtani is going to just overshadow just being on the same team anyways. And then, I mean, none of these other guys are really going to sniff the MVP. I mean, Ella De La Cruz plays for the Reds, and the Reds are 500 team. I mean, no one's going to vote for MVP from a guy from a 500 team. So, I mean, yeah, it's a two-man race. And to your point, Jimmy B, if you're going to bet on somebody, you might as well take the odds on Harper because you're not making any return on Ohtani anyways.
Exactly. So that's what do you think, Dan?
I'm taking all of your information, I'm absorbing it in. I am as fair weather, don't follow too closely. I know the Giants are not great this year, and I don't know how the Cubbies are, but usually the NL Central is a bloodbath and just kind of gets decided at the end.
The thing about it is that you should pay attention to the Giants because they're within like a game and a half of the final wild card spot. So right now, the NL wild card race is insane. Like, there's like the only two teams I don't think that are in the running are the Miami Marlins. I think they're the only team that are not in the runnings within the final wild card spot. The Miami Marlins have already been eliminated. Everybody else. Are you looking it up, Eric?
Yeah.
So tell us who the last three tell us how many teams are in the wild card race in the National League. Within 2 to 3 games.
It doesn't say that anybody is actually eliminated, but the Rockies and the Marlins are really bad.
They're how many games behind?
The Rockies and the Marlins, the Rockies are 14.5 out. The Marlins are 13.5 out.
And then who's the next one above them?
The Reds are 4.5 out.
So 4.5. Like, the Reds are 4.5. Where are the Giants?
Giants are 3.5.
3.5. Where are the Cubs?
Cubbies are 4.5.
So that's the NL wild card. Only 2 teams have been pretty much eliminated from the NL wild card. There's 13 teams that are in the hunt for the playoffs. Like, yeah, like, you should start watching the Giants, Dan, because you never know. It's June, it's still it's the end of June, going in July. We're halfway through the season, and 3.5 games, the 3.5 games or 4.5 games away from the final wild card spot. They could make a run.
That's only gonna. My only the only content I have to that is that being in Indiana, I must dedicate time to Caitlin Clark. We all got a letter in the mail yesterday. We have to watch every WNBA game now. But no, I if I can find time to, like, it's already. The Bear just dropped yesterday. Now I'm just making excuses.
Yeah.
Let's
look at World Series odds. Let's go look at World Series.
We literally did a dry run of this. Here we go.
So this is the National League. Oh no, this is all World Series winners. So you got the Dodgers at plus 310. They're gonna choke. Because they choke every year unless it's a bubble. The Yankees at plus 475. Now the Yankees do look good, and they're in the race for home field advantage in the American League. Plus they're in the race for, it's them and the Phillies back and forth constantly of who the number one team is. But Vegas putting the Dodgers ahead of the Yankees and Phillies is egregious, because the Dodgers just every single year, unless it's a bubble, every single year, they just find a way to lose to a lesser team and get outplayed by a lesser team, mainly because of their manager. Their manager, a lot of people think that the only reason he's a manager is because the Dodgers just have such a good roster, and it's hard to screw up the regular season with a roster that good.
Well, yeah.
When it comes to the playoffs and making moves that matter and making the right moves at the right moment, he's very, very bad. And as long as he is still the manager and they're not playing in a bubble, consider the Dodgers dead. They could have Ohtani, Hashimoto, whatever. They could have Mike Trout on the Dodgers. They could have a dream team. They could have Mickey Mantle. They could have Carl Yastrzemski, Ted Williams, Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron.
I hear the point.
Willie Mays.
Yes. Oh my God.
On the team, and they would still find a way to choke because of their manager.
We're doing a baseball episode, and we didn't. Well, I mean, we did start with Niners news, but no, we neglected to say RIP to Willie Mays. I'll say it again at the end, but yeah, no, that was really sad. Did I break the news to you guys? Because when I saw that, it was literally 10 minutes old.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I didn't say it, but it's funny because I believe the day that it broke, I actually found 3 Willie Mays cards in this guy's collection that I'm doing.
Oh wow,
which was cool.
Dang.
I was like, wow.
What eerie timing.
I know, that was crazy. I started on this guy's collection, Rusty's. I can say Rusty because he's signed an NIL. Jimmy B found 3-4 Willie Mazes sitting in his collection, So
that's not trying to deviate too much, but remember, I think I texted all of you, or at least texted James. Remember when I bought my then fiance, now wife, the Friends Complete Series collection the day that Matthew Perry died?
Oh yeah.
I went to disc replay, and then literally an hour later, I saw that Matthew Perry died. So I didn't because of him. I want to make that clear. He died after.
Right.
Just very eerie timing.
I think the Orioles on this list, I mean, they're interesting. They've got some really good bats this season. I mean, they're hitting the laces off the ball. I mean, they're
they have
interesting.
a good young team. They have a really good young team, that is playing well. And if there's an underdog, out of the 5, I don't know why the Braves are at plus 750 too. That's ridiculous. But anyway, the Orioles, out of the 5 teams that are on there, because everybody else, Guardians down, I wouldn't bet on.
I wouldn't bet. I love me some Cleveland Guardians, but I don't think I could bet on them either.
The only other team I think I would bet on right now out of this, and you can still get good odds on, is the Houston Astros. Because they just reached the 500 mark after being like 15 games under 500 to start the season. So they're starting to get on a roll. And, that American League West, they usually own. Yeah. So I think they're starting to come together with the new manager. So getting them at plus 1,800 is a pretty decent bet. Is a good bet, I think, to do that, because the Astros, of course, have been, they've been in the World Series like the last 4 out of 6 years or something like that, and they just won one 2 years ago against the Phillies, which I don't, my wife throws in my face all the time. But because she's a big Houston Astros fan. And so the Astros are, with the way they're going now and the way they're starting to win games and stuff, I actually wouldn't count them out dead. I would actually plus 1,800. Like if you're gonna start it, they're right even at 500. They're 40-40.
Yeah.
And they were literally like 15 or 13 games under 500, starting in May, and they're at 500 now. So they're starting to inch their way back into the conversation of good teams.
And the Mariners are not going to win that division. The Mariners are terrible.
Yeah.
I was going to say, have the Rays just fully come crashing back down to earth?
Well, yeah, this year, but you don't understand. I admire the Rays organization. They literally can take $45 million and create a winning team. Because they have one of the lowest salary payrolls. They have one of the lowest payrolls in Major League Baseball. But generally, they can compete with that $45 million that they spend on salary. They find analytical ways to use people in the right position or in the right spot to make them successful enough to where they can actually compete, for a playoff spot. And in the bubble, when the bubble was here, they made it to the World Series when it was in the bubble, but
right.
They have always been known as an analytical team that makes the best of what they got. And they can,
because they have to.
They basically have to. I mean, if Eric Neander wants to, if somebody wants to lure him away from the Tampa Bay Rays, I mean, they should give him a blank check, because that guy is a freaking genius with how he puts together a $45 million roster.
Absolutely.
Their active 26-man roster is $73 million this year.
Is what?
$73 million this year.
$73 million.
Yeah, which is 21st in the major leagues.
So yeah, okay, so that's in the bottom third.
Yeah,
that's in the bottom third. That's where they compete at, and they still.
The quarterback is going to not this year.
Quarterback is going to make as much. Well, there are. Oh, so you say that, Dan? There are quarterbacks that are going to make more than an entire team's payroll this season.
I was going to say, if it was $45 million, like James first said, then yeah, that's just Patrick Mahomes' salary.
Yeah, well, that was their salary 2 years ago.
Yeah,
2 years ago they were at $45 million.
The Oakland, soon to be Las Vegas Athletics payroll is $28 million this year. So that's
really that's $27,999 and $998 more than I thought it was.
yeah. So there's 30 people in the NFL making more than that.
Jesus Christ.
The Miami Marlins 26-man payroll is $47 million this year. So, Patrick Mahomes makes just shy of that.
Yeah, Josh Allen, him, Joe Burrow makes more than that, and Trevor Lawrence makes more than that.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, no, not yet. Jalen Hurts is making $5 million for the next 3 years, and then he's going to cost like $120.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Jalen Hurts Day for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you want the outside odds right now, the best team to hit is the Houston Astros.
Yes. Let's I see what time we're at now. So what's the next one in our dry run that we did? Which one did you want to see?
National League Cy Young.
Oh yeah, Cy Young, which is awards and National Cy Young. Here we go.
So we got Zach Wheeler. That's a good bet. Plus 300. Tyler Glasnow. I'm not sure. Maybe that's not a bad bet. Ranger Suarez for sure. Dude's on fire. He has the lowest ERA in baseball right now at 1.75, or at least that's what it was at his last start.
I have Ranger Suarez at plus 1,800 for Cy Young.
There, see, Eric, did I tell you to do that, or did you do that on your own?
No, you told me to do that. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So and then we bet him for MVP. But then we got, I mean, the rest of them, Max Fried, maybe, because he's really maybe. But when you look at, I think the top four there, Chris Sale has an outside shot.
Sale's been really good this year.
Yeah, Sale's really good this year. But honestly, you're gonna see Ranger Suarez and Zach Wheeler probably finish 1 and 2 in the Cy Young race.
Do any of these guys stand out to you as like, why are they even on this list?
I mean, Yamamoto, I mean, he's all right. Definitely Taijuan Walker. They need to get his that guy. Oh my gosh, that guy sucks. I can't believe he even has odds for freaking Cy Young.
20,000.
Let's see. Paul Skeens right there. Maybe the Cy Young if he starts getting more innings. But he's also a rookie. I don't think a rookie's ever won Cy Young. But Paul Skeens,
what about Kerry Wood or Pryor back in the day?
No, they didn't win Cy Youngs when they were rookies.
Okay.
I think if there's anybody who won a Cy Young when they were a rookie, it was probably Roger Clemens, because he had his 84 season was insane.
I will find out for you shortly.
I'm just throwing it out there, James. Literally,
Fernando Valenzuela is the only player to have won Rookie of the Year and Cy Young in the same year.
Oh, okay. That's yeah, Fernando Mania. I remember that. So that it's a rare feat to win Cy Young and Rookie of the Year. But if you want Paul Skeens for Rookie of the Year in the National League, I say take that bet. What's he at for Rookie of the Year?
Oh, he's
the
yeah. That makes sense.
That makes
people
sense.
have already they've already heard you.
Yep, the dude has the top 10 fastest pitches in all Major League Baseball this year, and he only got called up in May. He doesn't throw a ball under 100. All his pitches are 100 miles an hour or over.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's crazy. And he doesn't look like a guy who would throw 100, No,
he's not big.
No, he looks like a normal dude you see at the bar just drinking beer. Seriously, he doesn't look like a ball player or anything, especially with his mustache. And I'm just like, this dude's a major league pitcher. And yeah,
I forgot. I was trying. I started this. I'm gonna go. Or no, I'm not gonna take that one. Who did you say between all these guys?
I think it's gonna be Suarez. I think it's gonna be Suarez. That wins that one.
It was Harper. Was that what was the other the World Series? What did we say? Phillies. You said Phillies for World Series.
You're gonna make a Phillies parlay?
No, I just wanted to see what this would pay out like if I put everything that we've talked about in this episode into a ticket. I just wanted to see. Remind me, was there one last one you wanted to talk about before we wrapped up?
I think that was it. I think that's all we thought. I think
you might as well throw the Rookie of the Year one in there, Dan.
Just throw it. That'll make a good parlay.
Yeah, it'll.
I just wanted to say, did you not see how little I have in here?
So you should bet it.
It won't let you parlay all that.
Oh no! Which one? Which one threw it off? Was it Paul? No. Was it the Phillies win the World Series? No.
I hate that it doesn't tell you which one like messes up your parlay.
Is it possibly
Maybe
having both Paul and Ranger? What the hell?
Maybe you can't parlay those things together.
Maybe you can't parlay those things.
Oh, well, that's fun. Thanks, DraftKings. This is as disappointing as when I tried to make a parlay at the Oscars and you said no. I see. 2 years in a row I tried and DraftKings told me no both times. But I mean, I whiffed on all of them because I was doing long shots. But
yeah.
But no, I did 3. I remember I traded myself 3 $5 parlays, $15, all gone. But I wanted to make a $5 parlay.
If you want to spend that $1 and get something, bet the Houston Astros to win the World Series.
What's the?
That's plus 1,800.
The Astros.
There you go.
So
that's going to be the biggest return for your dollar.
You get $1, you get $19 if they win. There you go.
There we go. Sure. I'll do it. It's my one. There we go. There's nothing.
This is the penny slot gambling that I do, Dan.
There we go.
This is what Eric does. Easy E is easy on the pockets.
Yeah.
There we go. And I just went ahead and flipped it back to us. Here we go. Now it's the 3 of us. Yeah, no, and I realized too this whole episode I didn't have Indiana Dan. I need to remind myself to do that when we do a betting Friday once again. But no, that was fun. I like having you and who I call on the show our New England connection. You two are my most in-depth baseball connections, and I always appreciate your tidbits because I'm just fair weather. I don't follow baseball as closely as I probably should.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, if you're a Giants fan, then pay attention. See if you can pay attention to the Giants because they're only 4.5, 3.5 out of the final wild card.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that the NL Central is just madness again. It seems like every single year, like I said, the NL Central is just madness. Like you can't ever tell who's going to win the division.
Yeah.
Like it's not so obvious like the Yankees and the Dodgers won, but anyway.
Well, I mean the Yankees is always not so obvious though because the last 2 years it's been like the Rays and then the Orioles or something like that. Like the Yankees have started to compete this year because they got an extra bat and Juan Soto. They traded like literally every player in their farm system for Juan Soto and then gave him a bunch of maybe I don't even know if they gave him a contract, but Juan Soto is now on the Yankees, and he's one of the better hitters. He was a rookie on the 2019 Washington Nationals, and literally got the game-winning RBIs in the playoff, the one-off playoff game that they had between the 4 and the 5 seed. Like he's one of the best hitters in baseball, and he's behind like. You put him and Judge and in that lineup, that's why they're doing so well. And that's why it's between the Phillies and the Yankees right now, because they both, I mean, you go down their lineup and I mean, you got nothing but hitters, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Soto signed a 1-year, $31 million contract. That was an arbitration, or they avoided arbitration on that, but he's a free agent next year.
Yeah.
I hate how stupid good baseball money is. That's insane.
I mean, Ohtani's he's making $2 million and he'll be making $68 million later on. Another Bobby Bonilla contract.
Yeah. Happy Shohei Ohtani Day for the next 50 years because he gets paid out.
Thank God it counts against the Dodgers cap when that hits. Like, yeah.
Oh my God. Hold on. We need to go to the sponsor because of my thing, but I'm trying to. Oh my Lord, this is just. I'm going to share my screen. This is ridiculous because because my favorite website listeners for sports stuff is is Sport Track, and I just found it, and I wanted to share with all of you. Just 2 million all the way and deferred. Just look at that. Look at that madness.
That's
He'll only have taken 20 million out of their cap, but all that is so backloaded.
Yeah.
That's just not fair.
But he'll be like 48 years old, still collecting a $60 million check.
That's just
that? Could you imagine,
that's just stupid.
Could you imagine what it's like to go to your mailbox? You're like one day a year on Shohei Ohtani Day, and you just open it up. Oh, there's my 68 million.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
I was
That's
running
just-
out of the money. Now I got another 68 more.
That's just you skip 1 year and just give it to somebody, and then you take the next year, and then you give that one to another charity, and you just alternate which ones you actually pocket. Like,
Yeah.
that's so much damn money.
It is. And
God,
I guarantee he's not going to pitch all those years. Like, he already is missing 1 year of pitching. Like, I guarantee he's not going to pitch all those years.
No.
You know?
No. But anyway, guys, this has been a fun baseball episode. We'll see if we have something football related to talk about next week.
Well,
we'll see.
Not next week, but in 2 weeks. But we can talk about the antitrust suit from the NFL for Sunday Ticket.
Yes. No, I just mean that
that could be a whole in-depth one episode as we talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm just saying, football fans. We're football fans. We feel you, but this is how we'll keep the fires brewing until August, I guess. But anyway, we need to talk about our sponsor now, RoyalRetros.com. What is Royal Retros is your go-to place to get yourself an authentic throwback jersey. Whether you are a football fan or baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey, all the major sports, they are on there. But if you are a Bay Area fan like us, check out the Candlestick collection. It's curated with that in mind. And then you can use promo code Shady Sports to get 10% off of your order. It helps us out. It helps Shady Sports Network out. It helps everybody out. And it gets you a little bit of a discount on your nice new authentic jersey. Again, use the promo code Shady Sports to get 10% off of your order at RoyalRetros.com. Go get yourself an authentic throwback jersey today. James, let everybody know about our charity we're helping.
So, guys, we know the owners are bad. We know they don't get reported on like players do. If a player does something wrong, we hear it in the news for a good couple of weeks. If an owner does something wrong, we have a little blurb in a local paper and then it gets thrown under the bus. We never hear it. How do we know? Well, you can look up the Houston, Texas minority owner has been charged with very serious sexual crimes in Kentucky. Also, the owner of the Niners, Jed York, has also been is also involved in an insider trading scandal from a company that was helping students cheat during the pandemic. So, yeah, we know the owners are dirty. There were 31 slides on the blackmail PowerPoint that Dan Snyder so happily made us. And so, Dan, if you just want to hand it over to us and we'll just go right through it, we'll have our little presentation for it. You can give it to us and we'll just go through it and make sure everybody knows all the dirt that is out there. And the reason why we say this is because, like I said, players are held to a higher standard than owners, when the NFL has said that owners are supposed to be held to a higher standard than players. But that's obviously not true. And so that's why we say owner accountability is less than player accountability. # owner accountability. And to show you where we put our money, where our mouth is, we are selling t-shirts for charity for Mountain Comprehensive Care Centers in Kentucky. Right there, you will get owner standards, less than player standards, # owner accountability. That's our statement we're trying to make. If you want to get that t-shirt, it's $22.99. We have different colors and different sizes and different styles. Next up, we have our podcast logo art. You'll find that wherever you listen to us on podcasts or on our YouTube channel. You can have that on a t-shirt for $22.99, or we have different styles, different sizes. Next up, we have our alternate logo with the field goal and the nuts. You can get that. I have that. Very nice quality. You can get that in different colors. $22.99 gets you that in a t-shirt. And finally, you cannot say no to a peanut eating peanuts while cheering on the couch for San Francisco 49ers, our official Niner Nuts mascots. $22.99 gets you that in a t-shirt. Donate to Mountain Comprehensive Care Centers today.
Yes, like James said, the link is in our episode descriptions. And I'll admit I was very distracted just now because I wanted to follow up on that story. And I think this could also be an episode where we follow up on a bunch of these charges that we have been talking about. I sent you all just the link. And yeah, we need owner accountability more than ever because all 7 charges against this minority owner were dismissed in a plea to plead guilty to 1 misdemeanor charge of harassment with intent to annoy. That is not a joke. That's literally what it is. And he paid a 100.
Isn't that just the definition of harassment though? Like it's just like I'm trying to annoy you.
I'm reading the article verbatim. It's from Texans Daily, part of Sports Illustrated, I think it is. Yeah. But yeah, no, this story came out. We missed it by almost 2 months. It happened in April, but or almost 3 months. But yeah, a $100 fine and a misdemeanor of harassment with intent to annoy. So yeah, we need some owner accountability more than ever.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
Crazy.
no,
Wow.
read that article. Read that article I sent you in the chat. That's why I had a little bit of a graphic seizure there for a minute too, because I was very distracted reading that very somber news.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Do we have
I don't know what
any
happened.
insider trading scandal?
I will save that for. I will save that for another episode because I was already distracted enough by this one. But we will follow up on that. The happy news that I don't want to end us on that sad a note for the little news blurb. So I'll just tell Eric since he's on here. And even though I texted our group chat earlier, the NFL lost its case against antitrust with Sunday Ticket. So it's going to go through appeals. God, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not holding my breath on appeals, but we'll see. But no, this was a good victory. So that's the happy news that we're going to end on. And guys, next week was already going to be an off week. Yes, we're going to celebrate Independence Day and all that jazz, but it was going to be an off week anyway. So timing just worked out perfectly. So we will be back on Tuesday the 9th. The day before my birthday, funny enough, 2 birthdays within a month of each other.
All right.
But yeah.
When does training camp start? I haven't kept up with that.
Late July. Late July is when, because I just saw a thing about the Colts having open practices. I think they're late July and August, if I remember right. But yeah, anyway, that's all we got, guys. Have a great, happy Independence Week for our U.S. listeners. James?
Outro music, River Road, Justin Muth.
We'll see you in a week,
Later.
y'all.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long. River Road, Where have all the women gone? Have they kissed her hand and waved you bye-bye? Have they thought about crossing your double yellow lines? River Road, they love the way